My name is Cheyanne Marie, and this is Touche, my artist platform for all my people in my community. We usually are a podcast with social news and entertainment. However, considering events that are going on in the world, I felt like today needed to be a special bonus episode that's a little more approachable for other people. So today we have a special guest. We have Nicholas Johnson. Woo! And we also have Victoria Castillo.
Slide in the frame.
Woo, 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 woo. Hey. So Nick, who you be?
Well, as Shay has already told you, my name is Nick Johnson. I am one of her great friends. We met in college quite some time ago. I don't remember. Somewhere along the line, she became my little big sister. This is my Gus. Shows. We did too many shows together. But anyway, I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. There, I teach middle school chorus and general music. And oftentimes, I usually work with theaters and put on musicals and put on shows, as well as teach private voice. And if I get the opportunity, I also do some performance as well here and there. And that's pretty much who I am and what I do currently. Currently, I'm not doing shit because of the coronavirus. It has me at home. Well, right now we're in Florida, but it's had me home for the past couple of months, doing virtually nothing. But that's another conversation for another day.
We can talk about that in a regular episode.
Yeah, we'll get that on the regular episode.
And Victoria, who you be? Let the world know who she is.
I'm Victoria and I'm from Earth. Greetings. So I'm Shay's second cousin, but many people say we look like sisters.
Same. They say we look like
we
sisters.
are family. And I do have all my sisters with me. Alright? I'm a songwriter, singer, poet. I'm a flight attendant, so I travel, been around the world. And I am 26. I'll be 27 in about 6 days. And happy to be alive.
So I want to just take a moment, first of all, to say happy Pride for all my Pride people. Because I feel like considering events, you don't get to fully have your Pride Month.
We really don't.
But I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to talk about what it means to be an African American male or female or an African American identifying human being in the LGBT community. But with that said, I feel like within the LGBT community, I can't really speak on my behalf, but I have you here to talk about your experiences. As a black gay man, do you feel like you face racism within your own community, on top of being black?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was on Facebook the other day, and one of my friends posted, while we're in the middle of this whole Black Lives Matter movement that I'm definitely a part of, can we also address the issues of racism within the LGBT community? And I thought that was pretty awesome. And I didn't read the full thread yet, but I definitely thought about it, and it did hit me that it was actually a real thing. And it is something that a lot of black gays go through. We're pretty much accepted in the dating world by our own color. And I'm not speaking for all people, but when it comes to basically like white guys or Spanish guys, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you know, in the LGBT community, especially with the guys, there are like subgroups that they label us as, such as twinks, bears, otters. Are y'all aware of those things?
I'm a little aware. You can talk about it a little bit.
So listen, I'm not a pro on these topics, but I can give you what I can. So within our communities, we're just so divided. One, we're divided by color, and then we're divided by physical features and body types. And like I said, within that, we have different things such as bears, twinks, otters, as I've said already. What are some more? I would hate to have to pull up a website to find some categories.
Wait, what are otters?
Bears?
Okay, otters are basically like boys who are not super muscular, but they're like slim, fit, and like hairy. Or they can be a little... And then bears are like a thick version of an otter. So if you're like a big guy that's hairy, that's considered a bear.
I like bears. I feel like I would like a bear.
Twinks are like more slim fit.
So what are you? Are you a twink?
Yeah.
I like twinks.
Unfortunately, I'm a twink. And what is another one I said? We also have daddies. I think y'all can figure out what a daddy is.
Is this an older man?
Yeah, an older
Shit,
gay
we
guy.
got daddies too.
I think that's called a cougar. So there are different types, but even within those little subgroups, there is one group that really, really kind of discriminates against the black men, and that's definitely the bear group. I'm not
Why?
sure.
How's that? Do you say?
I don't know why. I've been to clubs that are predominantly bears or like those type of men, and they tend to be unwelcoming in a sense to gay black guys. You won't see a lot of us in there, and it has almost everything to do with the feeling of being unwanted or unwelcomed. And that's, like I said, it's just popular. But even aside from just us experiencing like prejudices or biases against us, I think we get it a lot from our own. I think I could care less if a white guy was uninterested in me. I could care less if a Spanish guy was uninterested. I could care less if a bear, twin, otter, jock, or whatever was uninterested in me. But it does kind of feel a little bit more, what is the word? Like when it pokes you.
It stings.
Yeah, that's great. It stings more for me to hear a black guy say, I don't date black guys, or I'm not attracted to black guys, or I don't like black guys. That one kind of hurts a little. But other than that, I mean, I can deal with it. Although it's not fun or fair, I'll still deal with it. But again, everybody's not me at the same time. And a lot of gays can be very sensitive or fragile in that area, and it's not something they can handle very well.
Well, I feel like it's hard that you already have to filter a way to navigate through this world
Yeah.
with your sexuality, on top of having to filter that and then filter your race.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about something that's like, we all have things that we're going through, we all have our own things that we feel discriminated against, like people who have mental illnesses, PTSD, people who are in the LGBT community. Because things like that, I'm not saying it's right, those are things that you can hide at plain sight.
Yeah.
Those are things you can look at someone and you can't really technically assume that they have PTSD or that they're gay just by looking at them, but you can assume someone is black by looking at them. So then there's like that other thing, you're like, well, I can hide this, but I can't hide this, and now I'm like, it's a constant fight. You have to fight the inside and the outside now. I feel like that's hard.
Oh, yeah, that's good. To me, the outside is the world. The outside is everybody who's not a part of the LGBT community. And the inside, my safe space where I want to be and feel great and valued, is within the LGBT community. So a lot of times we, like I said, I'm never speaking for all people. We feel like Shay said, we have to fight for a place on the outside, and then we try to create this safe space within our LGBT community. And then we're not accepted by certain groups of people there either. So now we're fighting on the outside and the inside. And it's like, God damn, we don't get a break.
Yeah.
And then even within our own African American or black community, it's still just fought against.
This kind of like leads me to the next thing. You have African American, we got Afro Latina. Now you look at all of us, we light skinned. Do you feel like there's any sense of light skin privilege? Or do you think there's colorism within your own community? And if so, what have you noticed from your experience? Do you have any privilege for how you look?
We definitely face a lot of colorism within our own community. I know for a fact this, because you guys are Dominican, and I know for a fact just from knowing history that it's a lot of colorism within your guys' culture as well. Now, you two are both light-skinned. The hatred is put on the darker-skinned people, or the Haitians. That's just how it is. And it's the same thing within the African-American community. A lot of people think that light skin is better. The lighter you are, the better you are. The more well-off you are, the better your life is, the easier your life is. And they think the darker you are, it's just associated with something negative. Light is associated with good. Dark is associated with bad. That's just how it is, even on TV.
Except food, because brown rice is actually better for you, right? Right?
I don't like brown rice.
And the brown wheat bread is actually better for you.
And it probably
And
is.
the brown sugar is
Oh.
better than the white sugar.
Boom. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's what she just said. As ironic as all of those things are, like she just said, brown rice is more healthier than white rice. But I don't like the way brown rice tastes. I love yellow rice though.
How you think brown rice feel when you neglect Your brown rice.
I think it should feel special, considering I just eat there and I don't burn it in the pot. I let it live. The white rice get ate up, processed, and flushed. But anyway, there's lots of colorism within our community. And like I said, it doesn't feel good. And we kind of talked about that in the last question, but it's true. But the other question you asked is have I experienced any type of privilege? I'm not that bright, by the way. But
he be tanning pretty easily.
Yeah. I've been to the beach probably 3 or 4 times in the past 4 weeks. So I've been putting on a nice, beautiful tan that I love, and I'm here for it. But unfortunately, I am on the lighter side for an African American. My mom is a lot darker than me. My sister's a lot darker than me. My brothers are a lot darker than me. But generally speaking, growing up in my life, I never really felt like I got special privileges for being lighter skinned. But I will acknowledge that it was a thing that people spoke about. Again, I grew up with a mother who was dark skinned, who I thought and who I still think is the most beautifulest woman I've ever seen. I don't take it back. I never in my life looked at a light skinned woman and thought she was prettier than my mom because she was light skinned. My mom is gorgeous. She has high cheekbones, long, beautiful hair. That's
hers. His mom looks like him, but a woman.
I've never thought that light skin was better than dark skin. But it is a thing that I've heard. And I've heard a lot of mean things from people both ways. I've heard a lot of light-skinned people say hateful things about dark-skinned people. And I've heard dark-skinned people, and I believe it's in retaliation, say hateful things about light-skinned people. But I believe it was more so in retaliation.
This is something I recently learned. I didn't realize. I think as a light-skinned person, I think we have to be careful how we say things and how we identify, because you can say things that are misconstrued. And I just want to take a moment to apologize for my ignorance. Even 3 years ago, I went to a college in Georgia, and I was constantly put in a box. I was always just boxed in with the other black people, which is cool. As me being an Afro-Latina, I will say I definitely identify with both. I definitely identify with my Latino side, but I also identify with my black side, the culturally speaking. The music I grew up listening to, the stuff I enjoy, the food. And I grew up with a perfect blend of both cultures. I had a stepdad who was African American and a mother who was Latina, Afro-Latina. So it's like, for me, I identify with both. But if I had to pick one, I always found myself, all my closest friends were always black, best friend, and I never thought of it like that. But when I got to college in North Georgia, there wasn't many people who looked like me. In fact, me and Nick were some of the handful of people at that school, an entire school, who looked like us. And they kind of just boxed all the people in that community in one box. And not ever distinguishing or allowing people to express what makes them different culturally. So I had a professor in particular who always said, assumed I was black. And that's, though I am, I always used to say, I'm not just black, I'm Dominican. And that's what I used to say to him. But then it got to the point where he always said, well, you're black, you're black, you're black. And I would say, I'm not black, not black. And then it became a joke to the theater department that Shay always says, I'm not black. And at that time, I didn't realize how toxic that was. How me saying that could make my friends feel. I have a mother, dark-skinned mother, a dark-skinned grandmother, who raised me like they both raised. I didn't grow up with my father, and he's Colombian. I didn't grow up with that entire thing, and I didn't realize like how negative and how bad that came off, because then it came off as someone who doesn't identify with their black side, is ashamed to be black, and almost disgusted, because if you knew the attitude I had when I would say it, but I was pissed off at the way that professor talked about me and then diminished the 50% that I identified with, because that was still half of me. Like, I equally identified with both. But why was I so angry? Why did that bother me so much? And I didn't realize how bad that was. And by me saying that, it let white people think it was okay, because I went to a white school.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. It's really not. And there's ignorance, and I feel like ignorance and fear on both sides right now. We all need to be doing our homework. I feel like I have an upper hand as someone. I can reach 2 different communities safely without offending anyone. I've always wanted to do that. So I have to be very careful with how I talk about this. It makes me wonder, other people who are like me, the kind of things that they're saying are the kind of things that they believe can be misconstrued. And I think you gotta have friends like Nick who are willing to put you in your place and tell you like, hey, you know, like, that's kind of ignorant for you to say that. And I know the way I look has definitely given me privilege. I know this, I've seen it because my brother, we're about the same complexion. He has freeform locks in his head, so he's automatically judged just the minute you look at him.
Yep.
And I've seen my brother get treated substantially different than me. Literally, the only difference between me and Martin is his hair. I think.
Yeah.
He's not a mean person. He's actually pretty sweet. He's a handsome guy. Like, Afro-Latino, people assume when they look at me, if they don't think black, they think mixed. And already, if you think mixed, you think I'm black-white. I get on it all the time. So when people are like, well, she's half white, I can deal with that. I've gotten cast in shows for how I looked. I fit the black mold, but not too black. And that shit's offensive. Mm-hmm. Because the people I love the most, the people who have inspired me, the women in my life, who make me the strong person that I am, they don't look like me. And I see how they get treated. I just wanted to take a moment to say that because I don't want this to come back later on in life for someone to be like, well, ashamed to be black. I'm like, no, I was lost and I didn't realize the power my words carried. So I think if you know you have any type of privilege, which we all do in some form, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be where we are. We just need to use our voice correctly, do it the right way.
He wrote, if I can read this, he said, yeah, that hair prejudice exists.
Hair prejudice. Yeah.
I am currently going through my own personal mental battle, trying to figure out what in the hell I need to do with my head to like appear more like professional or different. And I just don't know what to do.
I like your hair.
I like your hair.
But what are y'all? You like it. It's something your eyes are used to seeing. It's something you like. The hair prejudice exists, and that's why I'm struggling because people do judge you and make decisions of you based on how your hair looks.
You know, my hair be crazy half the time. Shay knows I love my hair looking all crazy. Like, my hair all crazy.
But she's an 80s girl.
I do love me the 80s.
Now think about this. This is because you are an open-minded, kind, soul-hearted woman. Think about the people who aren't used to that.
Yeah, these are the gray lines. Because it's like, well, now he has to change himself to fit in another culture. How's that fair to him when nobody has to change themselves to be around Nick? Again, the gray lines. I admit, I adjust to my surroundings. Me, when I'm with my Hispanics, you know, but when I am with white people, you know, they're more chill, so I automatically get more chill. And I do it without thinking, and I don't mind because I can adapt to my surroundings. When I'm with different cultures, different people, I do behave differently because there's no need for me to be all loud when everybody's talking normal. But I know when my Hispanic people are talking, they're all loud and I get even more loud.
Then that goes to make me ask, like, you just said such a beautiful point. If people are truly comfortable around you, should they have to filter themselves?
No.
So why do you?
I do it because I adjust to my surroundings. I can't explain
Code switching,
it. Yeah, I can't, and I don't do it.
I get what you're saying.
No, but I feel like you're about to twist it.
No, I'm not.
I hear it in your tone.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, do you feel like you ever could be your real self around your white friends?
I'm always my real self around everybody else. My real self loves 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's my real self. Guess what? Nobody really likes to listen to that. Luckily, I like different kinds of music. Of course, so when I'm around, like, white people, I'm like, hey, I'll play some of this stuff. I don't see they're not feeling it. I'll change it. I listen to everything around. I'm not, you know, I like my Spanish music, my bachata. Again, I'm not going to play that kind of music around black or Hispanic because they're not going to get it. That's just my personal choice. Again, there's no right or wrong way. It really depends on your personality. I'm fine listening to hip-hop. I'm fine listening to 80s. I'm fine listening to Spanish. I'm fine listening to it all. But guess what? Not everybody's cool with listening to that music. Not everybody's cool with being around that kind of environment. So I'm fine with just saying, hey, I don't have to listen to that today. I'll play something else. You want to play that? That's cool. I can vibe to that too. Just because I vibe to, I don't know, 80s with one group doesn't necessarily mean I'm changing myself. It's just another part of my personality. And it might be because I'm a Gemini. I'm many different people.
She's definitely a Gemini, and there are very many different people inside of their heads. So, to my question, two puffs be appropriate? That's what I'm wondering.
I think this is where me and Vicky are a little different because I get you want to adapt to your surrounding. You see the mom I have. My mom taught me not to adapt to my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
My mom taught me how to walk in a room and stand the fuck out. The way I handle things is I'm not gonna change.
Yeah.
See, you adapt to make people feel comfortable, and that's beautiful. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
We actually said that. It just doesn't sound good to hear, but you do.
I think
you
you do that
adapt
to-
to make other people comfortable, and it's beautiful.
That's
Because you just said, I like this music. This is what I like.
You-
But if they
you
don't
like
like it, I
anything.
change it.
Yeah.
But
If
you're
you
doing
were
it to
Shay,
appease them.
you would
Yeah,
keep it and
that's-
make us listen
yeah.
to it. So you do it.
I
to
would be
make
like,
us
no, you
comfortable.
gotta listen to this. You might never
Yeah.
heard it before, but you gotta listen to
That's
it.
what I do. When I get in my car, I play Mariah Carey. I don't care if I got 8
like
thugs
Mariah
in the
Carey.
car.
But see,
But I'm not gonna change my music because my brothers are in the car. They're gonna be like, oh Lord, here we go.
No, well, you heard me
They
in the
gonna
road
listen
trip.
to
I
it.
played everything, but then somebody else took the Bluetooth and they wasn't feeling my playlist. But that's
I
all
want to
right.
listen to what I want to listen to.
Again,
Because
that's
she's
what I'm
not
gonna say.
adapting to her surroundings.
Exactly.
She doesn't have to.
Exactly. How what makes somebody feel? Oh, hey, I like Hall & Notes. Nah, get that shit out of here.
Even if I don't listen to what you listen to, have I ever told you to cut that shit off?
No, but it's happened to me before. Again, I'm a team player.
But still though.
I say, and remember your question, it's a different time now. We're in the middle of a fucking revolution right now.
Yeah.
So, I say be you, and honestly, now is the time to be you, because at this point, if you ain't gonna like me as I am, I honestly don't want to work for you.
Yeah.
Because we are way too talented, we are way too smart that you do not need to work for anyone who does not value you for who you are. You can create your own shit at that point. So, I say there is a fine line, because I'm struggling currently with my brand. The fine line between you have a brand and also this is who the fuck I am. There's a fine line between, okay, how do you want to market yourself for the masses? And then who are you as a person?
Yeah.
I don't want to change who I am as a person for the sake of my brand, but there's levels to this. There are certain things you can't do to your brand, or you can't, like politics, religions, you kind of like keep that away from your brand. I'm so fucking heavy on politics and religion, like, this is politics, what's going on? I feel like your question also stems from the idea of like, I'm a professional, I want you to take me seriously, I want you to value me for my art, my skills, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I feel like you don't want to lose that uniqueness you have. Because you've been proven. You've gotten 2 amazing jobs teaching with the hair you have.
Point.
So, if you want to go back to your mohawk, go back to your mohawk. Vicky,
The mohawk will
you
be
want to
coming
wear your
in a few
big ass
months.
80s hair? Wear your big ass 80s hair.
Going back to your hair, like, if this is the look you want to go for, then go for it. But partially, I feel like you do want to change, but you don't know what change. Unless you actually love that style you have and you want to make that your look.
You just need to do something that you're
Because,
happy to
You know, when people
wake
draw
up
you,
with.
imagine your little middle schoolers, they draw you with your little toothpick.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
They call me Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that
That is so cute.
You know, so that could be your signature look. Oh yeah, you know the teacher. Then look. Oh
That's
yeah,
what everybody
yeah, yeah.
does. That's how the parents are like,
Yeah.
the teacher with the puffy, so
Yeah, but now when that's gone, what are you gonna be now?
back to the cheekbones.
Teacher with the cheekbones.
But I mean, hey,
I like the
Nicholas
puffs. I
has had
love the
some
puffs.
amazing hairstyles.
Alright, then.
I think we're underestimating the time, the direction we're heading. I'm not saying that
Off
shit's
topic.
not shit, but this is a new time.
I think I just received some help. We're definitely heading in a new direction.
We're living a revolution right now. We're living what we heard about in textbooks in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Except nothing has been this fucking huge since the Rodney King riots in 1992.
92 or 91?
It was technically April of 92.
Okay.
There were some things that happened in 91, but the biggest one happened in April of 92. I was talking to Leanne earlier today, and she was very emotional because she was saying she lived in California when riots were happening back then. She was only, I think, 11 at the time. And she called me crying this morning because she said that she remembers the riots when she was a kid and living in an area where she was like one of only like 3 white people. She definitely learned very quickly she had no voice, she had no room to speak, and she stayed her ass in her room. And she talked about how she didn't remember this much fear then as there is now. And she's hurting because Leanne is perceived white, and all her closest friends were always people of color, and she grew up, that's who she identifies with, her friends and everything. She's Native. I feel like she's had an interesting perspective. As someone who's perceived white, she gets to hear both sides of the conversation. she gets to hear the shit that white people won't say in front of us because they think she's white. And then she goes right back around and uses her voice to say something, which I admire her about that. You could even look on her Facebook and kind of like, she uses her voice. She's hurting too for us, but she's trying everything she can to make a difference in her, what she can. I don't know if anyone's been able to go to the protest, but I want to also talk about some ways we can help to get involved. That's not necessarily walking, because I know some people, they have a lot of worries about protesting, the risk of going to jail, the risk of losing their job, because of a photographer taking pictures of them and it not being blurred. So that's an issue. Right now is the time for people of color, and especially non-people of color, to use this time to educate themselves. Because what saddens me is to also see people of color who are siding with the opposing side. All because they're ignorant. They don't get it. They're not understanding. So when we come back on and talk about what's going on and how this is affecting the black community and just little things like that. So we're just gonna like kind of piggyback on what we're saying. So what kind of got Vicky talking earlier was the idea that like culturally, like in Latino culture, there is this prejudice that is sometimes underlying. So what were you saying?
I finally remembered what I was trying to say. So, it was that I wasn't exposed to a different culture till I was in foster care. I grew up in DR, I grew up in Tampa for a little bit, but I wasn't like exposed like that. So when I was in foster care, I was like the only light-skinned Spanish girl. So for me it was different because like my mom had always kind of like separated me from, you know, whatever. So before all this, like the only perspective I had was what was on TV. You know, just like Mexicans, they're like, Mexicans, they're all like cartels in the movie and like drugs, and you're like, damn, if you ever been to Mexico, you're like, this is a dangerous place. And Nick brought up a good point, how in Africa, all the commercials, it's all kids starving. There's a lot of healthy people, there's a lot of nicer areas that you don't see. Yet for people who aren't exposed or haven't been or have no idea of how it is in Africa or Ethiopia, that it's not the way they perceive it in the commercials. So again, you know, Caucasians, white people who aren't exposed to certain culture, the only perspective they kind of know is what they see on TV, and hardly ever do they say something good or it's something positive. You know, so again, that's my 2 cents on that.
This is Martin Osoria, also known as OG Marty, artist, also my phenomenal brother. One and only bro. He is one of the coolest people I know. I'm not just saying that he's my brother. Like, I always admired my brother since I was born. But, been through a lot of shit, so he has a lot of shit he can talk about. With that, question from Amin. He wants to know what your experience with the law has been. And with your experience, what do you have to say about police treatment and what are the 2 things you've seen?
My first time ever dealing with the law ever was with this Mexican kid, and we got beat up. The kid I was with, he was a known gang member. He was part of a Mexican gang called like the LRZ. He never did none of that. We just smoked weed. We just chilled. We was just, you know, he was still a kid at the same time. He was in like 9th, 10th grade. Yeah, so he was a known gang member. Cop was by she. Remember we lived right down the street from Shanley High School. The high school we went to. Yeah, we was like across the street in front of it at this plaza. We was walking to, I think, the Arby's or something like that. That was down the street from the school. Like, it was late. It was like 7, 8, 9 o'clock. It was dark time. And we was going, I think, either the gas station. Anyway, we was going somewhere. And we walked by the school. And DeKalb County, they stopped. There was a white dude and a black dude. The black dude was talking to me. And the white dude was talking with my Mexican friend, Salvador. And I was just sitting there waiting. I was sitting on the curb. And next thing you know, I seen a dude just punch a boy in the stomach. And I got out like, what the fuck? So what you doing? And then the black dude, he grabbed me. And he got a nightstick and he gut checked me. And the homie pulled his baton out and threw a blow in my stomach. I just dropped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even cry.
How young were you?
I was in 10th grade.
Oh, like 15, 14,
14. I graduated when I was 17.
So 15, 14, 15. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
That was my first time ever dealing with the cops, ever. I was already blowed at like, damn, why we getting stopped? We're just walking with kids. Like, we ain't doing nothing wrong. We're just walking to get something to eat or to the gas station or some shit. And then another time, my first time ever get locked up was 19. I was locked up in Gwinnett County. But the way Gwinnett County's court system is set up, like when you got court, they bring you down into the booking room. So there's like 5 rooms that you'll just be sitting there waiting. It's the booking room. And one of the rooms is basically, they'll bring everybody down like from the jail.
So it's like a holding room?
Yeah, it's a holding room. They'll gather everybody and then, disperse them to court or whatever. So we're in this holding cell or whatever. It's like 60 of us in this room. The way jail is like room is concrete, metal benches,
60
and
people
glass.
is a lot for a holding cell.
So the room is like, it's gonna echo, you feel me? And then there's 60 people in one room. So like me and you having a conversation, everybody's having a conversation, it's gonna get louder, you feel me? So the cops kept coming in and saying, be quiet, stop, like just kept telling us to shut up or whatever. But it's 60 of us in the room. Like nobody's gonna be quiet.
60 people whispering is loud.
You feel me? You're whispering something, then somebody's gonna eventually get here, and then it's gonna keep happening, you feel me?
Everybody's trying to whisper louder than other people.
Word. About the 3rd time from him coming in saying, like, shut up, I was in the middle of laughing, like, and then he comes in, I told you to shut up, so I gotta stop laughing right then and there. You try to stop laughing in the middle of a laugh, you feel me?
You can't!
Yeah, so I giggled, you feel me? I smirk, and they're like, you funny guy. And he pulls me up.
I mean, you are a funny guy, though.
So he pulls me out to the hall or whatever, and he's telling me to put my nose on the wall. So I get as close as I'm gonna put my nose on this wall. My nose is not finna touch, not no jail wall. I get as close as I'm finna get to this shit. And he said, I said put your nose on the wall. And I tell him, sir, this is close to my face, I'm gonna get to the wall. And just like that, I'm staring at the wall. And he said, all right. He backs up, because he was like right here. He backs up about like 20, so I'm just standing there waiting. About like 20 seconds later, I just felt like mad arms just grab me. They slam me. One guy, he pulls my leg. Like I'm on the ground like this. So I got a knee in my back. I got one guy who's pulling my arm, like trying to make my hand touch like top of my head. Like he's pulling my arm up. Then I got another guy grabbing my leg, trying to like make my toes touch my back. Like I was in so much pain, like it was just crazy, like getting pulled like that. And I was like, I'm screaming, like, stop, like, you feel me? I'm screaming. Freaking, this whole side of my arm was numb for 2. Like, they cut off circulation from that. They just submitted me. So I was begging for them to stop. They just held me there and tell me stop resisting. I'm like, I'm not, like, what y'all trying to do to my body is not gonna happen, like.
It hurt.
Word, like, y'all finna break something right now. Like, y'all pulling me to my limit right now. And that's the shit that I had to deal with, you feel me? Being in jail, I done seen so much. I got put into the Muslim population at one point, and it was a month of Ramadan. And this got my whole respect to Muslims, what they have to go through in jail. Muslims, they gotta pray 5 times a day, and when they start prayer, they can't break that prayer for nobody. You can't start it like, all right, I'll finish it later. Like, once you start it, you gotta finish it basically. And you can't interrupt it. And the jail's supposed to respect that. They're supposed to know that. And the way Gwinnett County is, we get 4 hours of total. We got an hour in the day, in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and 2 hours at night. And then they rotate who comes out first between bottom and top floor. One day, top floor gets first everything. They're the ones that come out first, and tomorrow, top floor goes up. Our hour wasn't up to like 15 minutes. And a Muslim prayer don't take nothing but like 5 minutes. Because they time it, because there's a certain window time frame that Muslims got to pray or whatever. 15 minutes before we were supposed to take it up, they started their prayer. The cop, the CEO that was on guard, he had saw us from the corner, because there's a blind spot that they can't see on the rape yard in the corner. And he had saw us praying. So he's like, all right, everybody take it up. Like, he just cut our time up to like deliberately fuck with everybody. So I guess trying to see if they're going to break their prayer or whatever. We had 15 whole minutes to finish our free time. But he decided to cut it up short. But the Muslims, they didn't stop. They kept doing their prayer. Then the guy was like, y'all. He got on the intercom and he was like, y'all in the corner. I said, take it up. And then some people were like, hold on, man, we got 15 minutes and they praying, though. Let them finish their prayer.
I mean, that's nice that they have people stand over there, too.
Because they can't break prayer. You know what I'm saying? They got to stay.
Just hold up, speaking for them.
Word. So next thing you know, press this button and these motherfuckers come out like from these, there's like little small boxes, look like utility doors or whatever. Like wiring will be there. But nah, a secret passage for these motherfuckers to come in. Like, you motherfucker drop her from the roof, from the wall, like it's crazy. And everybody like, get the fuck down, get the fuck down. They yoke these motherfuckers up, they zip tied them, and carried everybody out like they were suitcases. It was hog tied, like with their hands and feet, where they was tied up at their butt. They was just carrying these motherfuckers like luggage. All 4 of them. They just took them out and then sent them to the whole lockdown, like maximum security. Those are my personal experiences. I've personally seen. And I say all that to say, like, I've never seen this treatment with no white man. Like, in jail.
For real?
Never. It's always been some.
Probably only if they're like crazy and they're probably trying to kill them. That's the only time.
Even if then, they get put in turtle suit. They always talk to in a respectful manner.
Let's not forget Charleston. The guy blatantly killed people. We know that.
Whoa.
And he got fed Burger King.
He got a life. Wait, he murdered people in church.
Yeah.
Then they gave him a life vest as
Yeah.
they traveled to make sure he was safe.
Yeah, they make sure.
And they got him some food.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, to me, is crazy. I'm like, we know he murdered people.
It's not like he have to prove it.
Versus like the guy jogging, not like he killed someone and jogged away. Obviously, there is a difference in the way, you know, black people are treated and as far as law enforcement.
We're put in certain areas. The reason why the majority of black people live in ghettos is because when we was free, we was only allowed in certain parts of town. You couldn't even go to the rich side. You had to be downtown or the west side. If you notice, every ghetto across America is either on the west side or on Martin Luther King Boulevard. That's systematically set. Like, that's from Maine to Florida to California to Washington State. Niggas ain't just moved to the projects because, let me just move to the project. That's the only opportunity they had. That was the only place they could be allowed to live. It was either live here or die, like, or go to jail.
A lot of people had land, but you know, it used to get burnt down.
Exactly.
The animals get burnt down, so it set them back years, like for them to leave something for future generations.
I want to ask you this, we talked about this earlier. You know colorism within the black community. Do you feel like you've experienced light skin privilege?
Yeah.
How so?
And I noticed I get light skin privilege before I had my dreads.
Oh, now all they see is your hair.
Yeah. And they don't fuck with me now. I lost privilege because of my hair. But when I had a little haircut, I was accepted.
When Mora had the waves and the fade.
My hair locked up, this white girl that I was gonna approach, that I wanted to get her number. She was in front of me, she was on her phone, and like she had no idea I was behind her or whatever. I'm thinking like, damn, I'm about to ask her, I'm about to say what's up to her. But she's in her phone, she puts it in her back pocket, she looks at me, and then she touches her phone, and then goes to her hand, and then she grabs her phone and holds on to it. Feel me? Like she thought like, damn, this dude behind me, is he gonna take my phone? Like, that's the vibe that I got from her, because she was in her phone, she put it in her back pocket, she looked at me, and touched the phone, and then she kept walking. Then she grabbed the phone and just held me.
She didn't even look at it.
Right.
I'm not sure if I've told you this already, but it just made me think about the whole how we're viewed a little less threatening because of coronavirus. And there was 2 instances. One, I was at a hotel. I worked at a hotel actually. Me and my cousin. My aunt was like the manager over the whole housekeeping department. Me and him were both floormen who went and inspected rooms. We had the exact same job, did the exact same thing. The only difference is I was lighter skinned and he was a lot more dark skinned than me. And not one morning did anybody call the front desk out of concern of a black man being outside of their hotel room. Then one day when he came to work also, guests called the front desk and there's a black man outside of my room trying to get in. Even though he had a key, a clipboard, a shirt, uniform, and everything. He had the exact same thing on as me, and I was near. They never one time called on me. They only called on him. It was the only one that was dark. And they felt threatened or some kind of way because he was dark. And it didn't dawn upon me that it was because I appear to be less threatening. Or because I was lighter skinned.
I can't even tell you how many times I got pulled over like on Buford Highway. I got pulled over for you at least once a week in Gwinnett. Because Gwinnett has technology.
I got accused of being a drug dealer once.
Wow.
Well, to be quite honest, I made a mistake and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was leaving the movies with one of my friends and there was a roadblock. And I saw the roadblock and my friend was driving. Now, he has been in a lot of trouble. So I said, listen, let me drive through this roadblock because I'm clean. I've never been in trouble. I don't have anything like they can't touch me. So let me drive through. In my mind, us pulling over, switching drivers to let me drive was the right idea. The police mind, we were trying to hide something. I didn't think twice about it. I was just like, listen, I know I'm good. I'm clean. I won't get in trouble. So let me drive through. And we pulled over and the police like flew to us. They flew to our car. They swarmed around me. They were like, why did you pull over? What's going on? And I literally told the truth. I was like, because he was driving and I wanted to drive this car through that roadblock because he's on probation, and I don't need y'all trying to like do anything to him. I was like, that's why. He was like, you guys have drugs in the car. I was like, no, I don't have any drugs in this car. And then he was like, so if I search this vehicle, am I gonna find any drugs? I said, sir, you have permission to search my vehicle. You will not find any drugs in this car because I don't have any drugs and I've never done any drugs. And he literally started shining his lights in the grass, looking in the sewer, checking the bushes.
The fuck?
He literally started looking for drugs all over the place. Now, he didn't go inside of my car because he probably knew he couldn't. Yeah. But he started looking everywhere for these drugs. And I was like, sir, I'm telling you the truth. I don't have any drugs. Like, I don't do drugs. And then he said, well, then how did you get this car? Okay, first of all, my mother makes 4 times your police salary. My mother got me this Escalade for my college graduation. I didn't pay a penny for it. She bought it for me. So I was like, that's how I have this car. And then he was like, what do you do? I was like, I teach at, this school.
And what does it matter?
Yeah, and then he was like, well, if you're going to be an educator, you need to think of better lies. I said, wow. I said lies. I said, okay, now this one I'm starting to get annoyed. I was like, so then, I started thinking about my rights. I was like, if you're not arresting me, I'm leaving. So he called Bates. He literally called his police department. He called the police department. I don't know the proper names. But to run a background check on me to make sure there was nothing he could find on me. In his last words to me, he literally said to me, I know you're guilty, but I just can't prove it, so I have to let you go.
Wow.
And from that day forward, I learned how dirty cops were. My father was chief deputy, second in command, and an officer almost my whole life. So I've only had a good view of the police. But ever since that man told me, he just knew I was guilty, he knew I was dirty, he knew that I got their car in an illegal way, I didn't graduate college. Like, because he said these things to me straight up to my face, I was like, wow, you really are one nasty pig. I was like, wow, that's what you really think of me. I was just so shocked. I was like, I'm literally telling you the truth. And I did tell him, I was like, I don't have any better lies because I'm telling you the truth, but you won't accept it. And I told him that he couldn't do anything with me because I wouldn't give him any attitude. I wouldn't fight with him. I refused to raise my voice. I stood right in front of his camera. He couldn't get me.
These are all different. And this is what we go through on a day-to-day, though. Like, you feel me? This is any given day for people. Like,
people forget that. I think that's what's making me upset about this whole protest thing. Is a lot of people think it's just about one
guy.
And no, like, this was just the cherry on top.
Yeah, this was like, your mama say, do that one more time and beat your ass. The police off.
You hear them helicopters?
They're doing it right now. They're protesting right now.
Yeah. Where?
They got signs up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're hearing this.
Let's try to. Want to try to catch it?
Yeah.
You want to run downstairs and catch it?
Fuck it.
That's going on.
I think we got the police support. There's mainly white people. Florida, yo. I love Florida. Can you send me some of this? I think this is live. Yo, this is fucking history. I love Tampa. Hello. That shit. Y'all hear the helicopters?
I heard it from there.
I think Wow. I think the police, yo, Amin said what the media won't show you.
So they blocked the road until then?
Yeah, they're blocking the road, y'all. Yo, these police are lit. They even spoke to us. Wow, can you believe that? This happened live.
It was mainly white people.
Yo, that was mostly non-people of color. If you really pay attention, that was mostly non-people of color. That's fucking amazing.
That was definitely mainly, that was like 80% white.
80% white, we say. But it's also Florida. Shit, I would be out there right now too. They're so peaceful. Everybody's fucking in it. Black lives do fucking matter. And they matter because my brother matters. You matter. I matter. Amin matters. Nick matters. My nephew, who I believe is the most amazing human being in the whole world, who I believe will be the greatest human, matters. And just because someone can look at him and not see that, he matters. But like Leanne said, ignorance and fear is what's dividing us. And if we all just lose the ego and educate ourselves, we won't be ignorant anymore, and there won't have to be any fear. So the police aren't stopping the protest from happening. They are allowing everyone to peacefully protest, and they're only blocking the road so that the cars do not interrupt them. I feel like it's very safe, peaceful, and if you look around, there's an amazing website. I can share the link on the post later. There's amazing ways that you can help. I know walking in a protest is not for everyone. You might have your own anxieties, and that is perfectly fine, but you don't have to limit that to being the only way you can help. You can help by donating to bail bonds to people in the areas who aren't as peaceful, like here in Tampa, who have been unlawfully arrested. You can help that way. You can donate to other organizations. There's just other little ways you can help. Ask your friend how you can help. My little Kylan posted about ways you can help, so I will also share that. But before we go, I just think it's cool that that happened. Vicky, where can they find you on Instagram?
Class V.
Class V, at Class VEE. Martin, where can they find you at?
Astronaut Marty.
Astronaut Marty, MARTY.
_ Nicholas Tyler.